It's happened again. It's happened again. Tottenham Hotspur. It's happened again. Tottenham, Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at Stamford Bridge. That's one win in God knows how many games at Stamford Bridge. Tottenham Hotspur cannot get a result at Stamford Bridge. This is PRTV Spurs. This is the reaction show where if you're a Spurs fan, it's time to hide behind that sofa if you want to, because that was a woeful performance. Join us as we dissect yesterday's performance in the reaction show. Good morning, actually. Good morning. It's Friday. Good morning, Tottenham Hotspur fans. Welcome to PRTV Spurs, Paxton Road TV, your reaction show. As I said, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. We don't like a 7:30 p.m. kickoff now as well. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Joining me, as always, to dissect or do whatever they want to do. I don't know. I'm pissed. Is Sam, Spurs for life, and Sean Pearl. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we? Or do I need to ask that question? And whoever answers first, you can have a sip of tea or coffee, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, a nice coffee. I won't say what's inside the coffee. But yeah, it was another bad night at the bridge. And actually, we deteriorated from Sunday. I think we were worse. And it's too many players seem to be on the beach, or have a lack of heart or faith, but there's obviously some players seem to be on the beach already.
I think can't argue with that one, to be fair. Cannot argue with that one. Shane?
Let me just...
Alarm's going off. What's that for breakfast? To say that you've got to come on reaction show and talk about Tottenham?
No, it's just to remind me that, not to go too far today.
What, in your criticism of Tottenham?
there's more than one problem. Put it that way. There's a few things. But yeah, if we're going to look and summarize the match, it was a terrible game. Absolutely embarrassing. You could tell by the manager's reaction on the sideline and his post-match reaction. But I think it's deeper than what maybe we want to look at this moment in time. But certainly we can get into the game and go from there. But yeah, I have no excuses for what I saw yesterday.
Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, the gift that keeps on giving. Please stop giving and start taking. I think every club comes to Tottenham Hotspur now and say, please, sir, can we have some more? And Spurs bend over backwards and say, of course you can, whatever you want. There you go, whatever you want. So, we've done the preview show, Sam, Sean, and we sort of said, this is a stadium where we just don't like going to. Right, and I think you said it, didn't you, Sean? Go and play the team, not the occasion. And I think
else's alarm's going off to tell you not to talk too much. Here we go.
Yeah.
More alarms.
But I think it was, again, we've gone there and we've played the occasion, not the actual the team. And looking from it yesterday, the problem we've got is I don't think we've got any players that are fired up for a derby. We had two captains on that pitch yesterday, and the main captain, to me, didn't do anything, to be fair. And this is a situation now where you need players to start fighting. But there's no fight in this club, Sean, is there? Or currently in the players?
No, I mean, when you looked at the teams when they were announced, you looked at their bench, you thought, we're going to have to play that 11. We're going to have to play that 11, and we've got a full bench, and we had one or two moments when Johnson got down the right early doors, but then after that, and we've seen it at 30 minutes in, and just shouting at the team, and it's like a repeat of there's that clip from when he's time at Celtic saying, "Don't pass it back," and that's exactly what he was saying to Sarr. Don't pass it back. And I thought, I don't know what it is. Players who come on as subs from previous game and look really good, so you think, well, let's play them. And then when they start the game, they're terrible. Sarr, I think, made 3 or 4 errors with his first 3 or 4 touches.
Yeah,
He was dreadful. Dreadful. And Kulusevski, again, they play him in the 10. I thought he was, ineffective. And just the changes that they made did not improve the team. And these were the players who played well on Sunday. And then, of course, we'll get into it, but
we will.
Just can't understand why players cannot perform game to game to game.
You know what, Sam? Isn't it? It's a bit like yesterday. It was a bit like Postecoglou on the bench doing a bit of an Hazard, weren't it? Don't pass it back. I don't want to see my heart breaking. Because, like you said, Sean, within the first 5-10 minutes, the mistakes, and we were lucky not to go 1-0 down straight away, because that pass by Sarr, he lost the ball, and who was it that went? Was it No, it wasn't Mudryk, was it? Who was it that went through? Was it Jackson? And Van de Ven had to do the off-the-line clearance. And again, we got lucky with the ricochet. But this fight, Sam, do you think can you name one player that has actually got a bit of fight in them? Because apart from Romero, okay, if you can say that, even him yesterday, we're not showing anything, are we?
It's not just fight. I said at the top of the show, if we want to get into a lot of conversation about what's happening at Spurs, we can do. This we've already seen, and we've already talked about the catalyst for all these events that I think we're up to at this point now probably stem from that Chelsea game that we had back in November. But there's not one thing that I can point to. Again, looking at yesterday, I've said that this team doesn't have any fights. I've said this on a number of occasions. You don't need to play well to perform in a game. What you do need to do is to be able to fight, do something that counteracts your form at the time. And these players clearly don't have that. 1 or 2 maybe, but as a collective, it doesn't. You can't give that to a team. No manager in the world can give you heart. Just like a boxing trainer cannot give a boxer heart. You have to be born with it. You have to, that you want to do. You have to have that desire. We don't have that desire, unfortunately. And I'm going to add, I think Andrew's put himself in a bit of a situation, expecting some of these players who are clearly not good enough. We don't have the consistency, and expect these guys to go out and perform to this level of football. I keep saying, if we're expecting Emerson Rowe to be able to do the same thing as Udoji, wherever the big problem, our whole thing relies on quality. We've been found out, all the rest of that sort of stuff. And now it's going to start now. We're going to have to actually see. I want this season to end now so we can get to a point where we don't have this, whatever's around us, because it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse over the next few weeks and coming days if we're not careful. So, no, I'm just not happy with what I've seen. And one of the things that it does, it starts with the players. But it has to obviously have some accountability elsewhere and responsibility elsewhere as well. And this goes all the way up through the club.
Yeah, we looked at the team sheet yesterday, didn't we, at 6:30 when the teams came out. And I think, Sam, you was travelling, so you rang me and I spoke to you about it. When we saw that team, and the first thing I said to you is, have you looked at Chelsea's bench? They have barely got an 11 first team out, yeah? That bench was, like you said, they've got school in the morning, yeah? Never heard of them. Danny Rose probably Googling every single player on that bench. But Chelsea started, this is the worst, they're saying worst Chelsea team, whatever, in how many years, playing 11 players just about. And they're still coming out shining, out battling, outperforming, everything out, whatever word you want to put, a Tottenham side who are supposed to be every player's fit now, apart from one or two. You know, it was, like you said, absolutely embarrassing. And the stats will show it as well. Absolutely embarrassing. If we can't go to Stamford Bridge, and how many times have we said this season again, where we've gone to clubs, and we discussed this on the previous show, oh, we have to beat them. We're not going to get a better opportunity. And what did I say to you guys? This is Tottenham. This is, don't, how many times have we said we're going to go to a club as favourites because they're shit, they're doing this, they're doing that, and we just don't turn up. We just don't turn up. I feel sorry for them fans. 2 away games on the bounce. They've travelled, one of them all the way to Newcastle. All right, this is only going to Stamford Bridge. But at what point did these fans, you know, the players actually say, do you know what, lads, this is fucking disgusting performances for the fans. They're not going to reimburse the fans. And the fans have to go through it. Yet the players are putting in performances like that. And I felt sorry for the fans. They should reimburse them fans yesterday, because that's 2 performances on, put the Arsenal one in, that's 3 performances on the bounce where they've not showed up. No fight, nothing. What are the fans supposed to do?
I mean, this is the business end of the season as well. You know, this is what separates the good teams from the also-rans, and we're very much also-rans at the moment. I mean, you know, I'm looking at the table, and I'm thinking, are we going to get caught by Chelsea as well as Man United? It's like,
it's possible.
You know, it's possible we could finish up in that bloody Europa Conference League.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and everyone's saying that the points against Burnley and Sheffield United are nailed on. Not a chance. Not a chance. If anyone went to the cup tie with Burnley, we struggled. We won that game 1-0 with a goal, like a thunder bastard, as they say, from Porro, 12 minutes from the end. And then Sheffield United will be, you know, on easy street. They'll probably turn into prime Barcelona on the last day of the season, because they'll have a party. I just, you know, there's no excuse for poor organisation, lack of thought, lack of pace on the ball. The perennial things, you know, the ball was moved so slowly. You know, you think we were playing against cut grass, you know, grass which was 6 inches long, and you know, we just couldn't get the ball across the field. And yeah, just simple things. The only players for me that emerged with any credit are Van der Ven and Romero, and you know, the last substitute. But you know, we'll go into that, no doubt. But it's an alarming deterioration since the Villa game. You know, and that was me thinking, oh, we've clicked back in. We're going to go back on a run like we were, you know, at the start of the season, and we've just fallen off a cliff.
Sam,
when I saw the animation from Postecoglou yesterday in that game, I think he's probably wanted to do this for a while now, but he's obviously tried to keep his cool. And I'm going to say this, and again, this is not me. This is just my observations. This is not me trying to in any way say Anja or any of that sort of shit that's going around and all the rest of it, because we do this every single year. But when you try and play away at football and players lose that belief, this is the sort of seedlings which you can occur. If you're playing football and you're winning and your philosophy works, it's easy. If you're trying to instill a philosophy, but some players can't quite get to it, or they don't see it working, and we haven't seen it working effectively, I think, probably since that Chelsea game. And I'm going to go back to that again. Since that point, this style of play has been hit or miss for us. We can all kind of agree, and the results kind of back that up. So what happens is players lose a little bit of faith. Players ultimately, and this is a bit of tongue-in-cheek, are competitors. I say that in a bit of a loose term. They want to win. They want to perform. If they're doing something that they're being told to do and it's not working in their heads and they're not getting results from it, they will lose some belief. They will lose some faith. So when we saw yesterday, when he's talking and shouting at Papi Sarr, pass back, because of the fact that these players are probably, I'm not saying all of them, some of them thinking, well, we've done everything you said, boss, but we've been smashed the last 3 games or the last 2 games completely. What are you going to believe? If someone tells you at work, keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that, and it doesn't work, what's happening, boss? And that's all I think has happened. That's why the end of the season needs to come. So he needs to reinstill this. It's not one person's fault. It's not anybody. It's a collective here. And this again goes all the way back through. We've seen this situation before. We've seen where managers get very frustrated. The fact of matter are, now that the media have picked up on, and again, we'll go into the set piece stuff again, but we are in a bit of a sticky wicket. Luckily for us, we've got 4 games left. Had this been mid-season, we would have been in a lot of fucking problems to get this sorted out, because I don't think we've got the quality of players to dig us out of these holes, because they ain't got no fucking fight at all. None. Zip, zero. And that goes back to not just Dan, this is going back through the club. This is going back to the £47 million we paid for Brennan Johnson, and he's at best a squad player. And we're considering buying Timo Werner. And we expect to challenge for any league titles next season with the amount of players that we'd have to get in and out. That's just not happening. And this is what I've been told by the manager. So I'm only going by that. We know that that's not real. So we need to have an open discussion about what these players are for us. Lo Celso coming on after 85 minutes when he should have fucking started. It's absolutely madness.
Listen, I'm in Manchester at the moment, and I'm at the home of 23% of Manchester fans, because 70% of them live in London. But I'm in Manchester, and I was with my nephews and all them lot. And yesterday they said, "What the fuck? How have you paid 45 million for Brennan Johnson?" He said, "What have you lot bought?" And I'm like, "Do you know what? I don't know. They couldn't understand it, right? They just, and I'm like, it's who we are, mate. It's who we are." But,
and Forest wanted them to pay more. That's why they failed their PSR. They wanted us to pay more for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Who's nuts is saying here, what Little Anne said post games on telling along the lines of some players haven't yet got on board with this philosophy.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah. This is a problem. So it's a good problem to have. I mean, I think Ange should have done what that he was doing on the touchline yesterday a lot sooner. I mean, even in the North London derby. This is what I say about the North London derby, right? As much as we hate to say it, but Arteta is always jumping up and down like someone's been pulling him on a puppet string, yeah? Because he's not happy with what he's seen on the pitch. So the animation sort of comes out of him, up and down, running, telling his players, da, 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 da. Ange just stands there with his hands in his pocket. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. Is that a detrimental thing on him? Should he be doing more of what Arteta does? Because standing on the touch and with your hand in your pocket and it's not working, for me, doesn't work, because you need to be telling these players what to do. Now, we've got, unfortunately enough, we've got a gooner in the ranks, because they love to come.
Let's answer the questions, because there's some good points that are probably being put in these comments, so it's worth addressing some of these points. He's
saying invariably you are where we were last season. You have 11 players that can play his system. The rest create massive drop-offs. So you, when you have injuries, can't cope. Yeah. And he's also said, and good morning, by the way, Gunner King, but you can't change your philosophy, because to bed in it, you need to keep playing the way, so that longer term they understand the system.
Can I address at least some of these points?
Yeah.
Nobody's, and I've said this repeatedly, time after time after time after time. You don't have to adapt your philosophy. You have to adapt your tactics. You have to adapt how you play when you play different teams in the Premier League. It's been proven over the 20-odd years in this league. You cannot play one way with inferior players in certain situations and expect to get the results that you want. The other thing that you also have to have is, when you're not playing well, you have to have fight. You have to have a desire to want to perform, even when you're playing shit, even when you're playing rubbish. You have to be able to perform. When I used to play football and when I coached, one of the things that I looked at was, if we're playing well, I don't need my coach on the sideline to be barking orders, because we're playing well. We're doing everything he's been instructed. I want him to be like chilled out. When you're not playing well, You want your coach, your manager to start giving you information that helps you overcome the difficulties that you're finding on the pitch. This is now, Andrew's been doing that because that's his style. He doesn't want to probably let out too much emotions because of people pick up on certain things and he can be like talked about. And again, we're going to his honesty sort of thing. That's a bit telling as well. But I don't have a problem with him being like that, being solemn on the sideline. But what I expect to happen is when things are going pear-shaped, you do something about it. Do something in the substitutions, do something with the players on the pitch. But as I said, you can't give these players heart. So it is down to what we have. We have inferior players trying to play a system that is so difficult to play anyway in the Premier League. It is not Japan. It's not Australia. It's not Scotland. No disrespect to any of them. But Emerson Royal, as soon as I knew he was going to be playing, I knew what they were going to do. And they didn't even have players that were allowed to be up past 12 o'clock. They were fucking school kids. The Chelsea team that we saw yesterday was a team that everybody would have been like, this is our best chance. But these players didn't even make it that it was a fight against school kids. It's embarrassing, man. And that has to be down to everybody's a collective in this, but the quality of players that we've got, if we believe that we can get rid of all those players, because there's about 9-10 of them that need to just go and be brought in, that's not going to happen in one transfer, but it's not going to happen for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So what do we see as this picture? It's clouding at best with the players that we've got. I'm for the manager, but you do have to adapt, my friend. You are going to have to adapt, and you're going to have to adapt quickly, really quickly.
Sean, do you want to add to that, and then we'll move on?
No, I think our friend down the road is he's fair. There's nothing you can really take away from what he's saying. We've not got. I don't think we've even got 11 players at the moment who can play the system. It's we're well short, and we are in a rebuild. And look how long a rebuild takes. It doesn't happen in 1-2 seasons, and that's the problem. We are so impatient because we haven't won anything for so long, and also we're seeing our neighbours doing so well this season. That's the thing. If Arsenal weren't doing very well, there wouldn't be half the vitriol that's going on, But
I agree with that.
we just have to suck it up this season and say that this is round one, and hope that there's an overhaul in the summer. It's not going to be done in the summer. It probably needs a January window as well, and we'll see where we are at the end of next season. But I think we're flying for the moon, and at the moment we haven't got the rocket fuel to get there, and that comes with sensible, hungry acquisitions who can play what the footballer Ange wants to do.
There's a couple of comments as well on there, one from Ziran the Tester and Gunnar King. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to them towards the end, because I want your say on, there's 2 points they've made, and I think that needs to be discussed. So we'll go through yesterday's shambles first, and then we'll talk about that. So I haven't got my other laptop with me today, lads, so bear with me as I go through this, because I've got to work out how this works. Right, so you'll have to tell me if this is working right, because I don't know. Has that worked?
Well, we can see your workings on the left, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in presentation mode.
It's not in presentation mode, right? So you're gonna have to help me on.
Go down to the bottom. See where the very, very bottom, where it's the percentage bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you go to the left of that, keep passing that slider, and then there's a button. The first icon, that's the presentation button.
Oh no, that's. I see that, but do I need to go into the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I've just done that. I'm in PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, it hasn't come up as PowerPoint on here at the present time.
You see what I mean? Because I'm not using. I haven't got my 2 laptops with me today, so
you can send it to me by email quickly, and I can see if I can get it up. But alternate.
Yeah.
We can see it. I can see it. I think Sean can see it as well, so we can
But
go through it.
I can't move the slides across.
Ah.
I can't move the slides. But I tell you what, carry on talking, and I'll send it over to you, Sean, Sam. But right, so I was going to talk about. I'll just put this question up here. So Guna King is saying, right, remember he Postecoglou keeps saying next season I want to challenge for the title, right? That's his aim, yeah. Now, to challenge for the title, you need a team that's going to be capable of challenging for the title. So Guna King here has put, forget next season. Forget the league next season. Just focus on top four, cultivating your style of play, buying more players to add quality and depth that can play in Angie's system, getting rid of Deadwood. We've been saying that for years. Yes, we've got rid of Deadwood, but still, there's still some more. Now, Zero and the Tester is saying here, if we're going to give credit to the manager for a 10-game unbeaten run at the start of the season, then we must hold him accountable for what is going on now.
Him and the players. It's not one. I kept saying it's not just one person or it's a group of a collective of a lot of things in this situation right now. So
to be fair though, Ange was saying it was on me. You know, he did. He said it was on him. So he's not hiding his responsibility. I just think, you know, he's using this first season to find out who really in the squad is a keeper and who's a go down the, sorry, you've had your time, let's go down the road. And that's how he did it at Celtic as well. You know, he had some pretty shocking results, but you know, he eventually pruned the team in order to win the titles. You know, so that's going to happen. You know, we just need to hold our nerve. And you know, hopefully we can get into the Europa League, and that for me will be progress. Remember when people like Merson were saying we were going to face a relegation scrap this year when we sold Kane. You know, when we sold Kane the day before the season started.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't underestimate losing a colossus like Harry Kane the day before the season started. And you know, it's been, you know, the fact that we are where we are, given that, is a testament to some things that have been inculcated, but obviously, you know, as the season has gone on, the belief or the faith has been tested to the point where they're not doing the things that they were doing before. They're not breaking the lines. They're not passing forward. You know, hence, you know, he's shouting at Sarr, pass the ball forward. You know, it's like, for me, that's like sort of Groundhog Day, because there's that clip. There is that, as I said, there's that clip at Celtic where he's saying, "Don't pass back," and he's shouting at the. I think it's probably at Cameron Carter-Vickers of all players as well. So don't pass back. Go forward. You don't score goals by playing around your own box.
Yeah. Right. So
the problem being though, and I'm just going to say this. If we didn't have what we had at the beginning of the season with those 10 games, we would be in a bit of a problem now. Because look what happened with Chelsea. I guess Man United was struggling. I'm not saying that we're going to be in a relegation battle, but had we not had that 10-game start, and this is what would have been, because he did say that this was inevitably going to happen, I think everybody was surprised by the start that we had, even us, even the manager, even probably the players. But we always knew this, and I knew this rocky period was going to come. Said going back to November, and you could see it from the first game of the season how we played. We all bought into it. That's fine. It's not a problem. We don't mind that. But we had such a brilliant start that it's like, oh man, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This is how Spurs are going to be. We can beat everybody like that with the right players. That go out. Yeah, Ange can do this. But it became clear very, very early that we were going to have some fallible moments, and we are very open because of the way we play. And if certain players are not playing, we're going to be very, very open. It's proven that way. But if we didn't have that 10-game start, we would be there'd be a lot more conversations going on now than probably should be. But yeah, we just need to get to the end of the season. We do need to have this quality. We do need to sort all this out. But it's not going to be an easy job. And yeah, we're gonna need to hold the faith and breathe again. Do you want me to do the slides, Sid?
Right, let's go for it. So first off, then, if we go to it.
All right, sorry.
That's all right.
No
problem. This is what you're live, and you know it is what it is. Not everything.
Hide that. Okay, let's see why it's not doing that. Doesn't seem to be wanting to do anything at the moment, but I'll try. This is live TV, people.
I know.
There we go.
Here we go. Blockbusters. Dun, 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 dun. Right. So first off, then we'll just bring it all up, Sam. We'll just look at the stats. This was quite 47% possession, 53 to Tottenham. Chelsea had 11 shots. Spurs had 3. They had 7 off target. We had 1 off target, 3 on target. We had no shots on target in the first half. That's 2 games in a row now. Arsenal and Chelsea. In the first half, we've not had any shots on target, which is absolutely ridiculous. Shots inside and outside the box, they had 8-3. We had 3-0. 241 passes they had, 84% success rate. We had 262, 84% success rate. Both had 97 touches in opposition's half. They had 18 touches in our box and we had 10. Sean, no shots on target again in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously one of our clearest chances was the Romero header in the first half. That was
which he should have scored.
Which he should have scored from. There's no excuse for that. But I mean, it shows a very even game apart from in the shots department. Look at the passes, look at the possession stats. It just we allowed them to take more possession than we have done in previous games, and when you looked at the team, I can't explain why it is, but yeah, we're just another very poor night, and the drop off is quite incredible, but there's obvious reasons for that when you look at some of the selections last night.
Yeah, Sam, do you want to add anything to this?
It looks like there's very 2 evenly matched teams, but that shouldn't be the case. They had people I didn't even know, didn't even hear about, never heard of. Their bench was even worse. Like I keep saying, they had to be in bed by 10:30. That's why the kickoff was 7:30. It's embarrassing. We're supposed to be fighting for 4th place. We've already seen what's happened in a London derby. We already knew we're playing our ex-manager. All these things, every single one in the club knew what this meant to us. And if it doesn't mean anything to the players, where do we go? I'm sorry, I can't have too many excuses, because there's no excuse for effort. There's none. Zero effort. There's 20 teams in the Premier League. On that last day of the season, this season, we're going to go to Sheffield United, and it could be a Newcastle that we had them seasons ago. When we're fucking going there to try and do something, we're not going to be trying to, but they had nothing to play for, and they gave us a tanking. I'm not looking for that this season, but I can see that happening because of what we're going to actually go through to get to that point. So looking at that, should we have them having 47 possessions to 53 and have almost the same amount of stats on there when they've got 11 nobodies pretty much on there? And that's an exaggeration, I know, but you know what I'm saying. They had a lot, 14 first team players out. We didn't have 14 first team players out of our squad, and we're supposed to be this team that's way ahead of bloody Chelsea at the moment. They have got a lot of good players, but Poch has been thrown. He's been thrown all these players, and he said last night, you know what, I've just got to pick these 11. But he still adapted certain things. There was an adaptation. And if people don't recognise that he adapted yesterday, then I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we say this. I mean, you can pull the stats up and go back to every stats we've done for the last 6, 7, 8 games. We've had possession in every single game more than the opponents. But like Gunnar King is saying here, with less possession, they create more chances.
Mm-hmm.
Every team has done that to us. We've had majority of the possession, but they've created more chances. Bring on the second half then, Sam, and let's see if it improved in the second half. Again, Same sort of thing. They had 27% possession. We had 73 in that second half. 16 shots. They had 5. They had 2 off target. And we had 6. Yet with 27% possession, they had 2 on target. We had 3 on target. 3 shots inside, 2 outside. Chelsea. We had 9 inside, 7 outside. 9 of them shots inside were pass backs at 1 mile per hour shots, which the keeper could have gone for a Cadbury's caramel or a coffee, a McDonald's or whatever, and still got the ball. They had 116 passes in that second half. We had 302, 88% success rate. They had 61%. Passes in the other half, 33. We had 187. Look at the touches. They had 5 in our box. We had 31. Yeah, and we didn't score a goal.
Did they win both halves 1-0, wasn't it? Because they scored in both halves.
Yes, and they won both halves 1-0. So again, possession means absolutely nothing because our possession goes side to side, back to back. Yeah, but nothing goes forward. And when it does, they haven't got a clue. What do you make of that one, Sam? I'll go with you first.
It's nothing. I can't add any more. I really can't add any more. This is what I've seen. I've said it on numerous occasions. Teams have adapted to how we play. They will adapt to how we play because they know that we haven't got the consistency. We don't have the quality. If you know Emerson Rules playing at left back and we play the system we play, it is obvious what to do. I feel sorry for our defenders because our forwards are not doing their job. Our midfielders are not doing our job. Therefore, they're going to have a really difficult time. You're playing 2 at the back most occasions. And this is what I'm saying about players' belief and buying into that. If players are not believing the system because they're not getting results from it, they will down dial 5, 10, 15%, whatever. That's clear. We was all raving about Sarr at the beginning of the season. He's one of the first on the team sheet. But he's Bambi on ice at the moment. I don't know what is going on with his boots. I don't know what he's wearing. I'm not sure but he doesn't look the same player. Now, is it the back injury? Basuma, I've already talked about in great detail. He's not the player I thought. He isn't ever going to be the player that we think he's going to be. So we might have to have a discussion about him. Son is not.
He's not the player he thinks he is as well.
Exactly, he's not. And I was blinded by it. Now I'm not even ashamed to say that I was. But that's why he's never left Brighton or anybody else and come to us. We can go through all the players, but that just shows me Chelsea played 2 different ways in 2 different halves, and they got the same result in both halves, 1-0, 1-0. Because they just knew what they were doing. They knew Poch knew what he was doing.
Yeah, Sean. Add to that, and also Zero in the tester. Sam said, Sean, those second half stats are appalling in my opinion. Sean, if these stats, right? Forget Tottenham. If this was Manchester City, 73% possession, second half, 16 shots, I'd tell you now, 3 or 4 of them would have been goals. And they would have had 15 of them on target. Yeah?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
again,
we were taking shots which were never on. I mean, one of them, remember when Van der Ven tried to welly one in and he got robbed by Nicholas Jackson? He had to foul him to get a yellow card. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember Bentancur's shot, P-rollers.
Bentancur, oh my God, Bentancur, he had enough time to put his foot on the ball and then welly it, but it's... Do you know what? I mean, it would be great to get a breakdown of exactly when this pressure go on because we were actually exerting a bit of pressure up until the substitutions and 60 minutes. And when we took the substitutes, when we put the substitutes on, we took Richarlison off and the Basuma and Sarr. We lost it, and PierreEmerick Aubameyang is if he's the answer, then we're not answering. We've not got the question right because he was dreadful. He was dreadful. His first 3 touches, he gave the ball away.
Well, that goes back to your point, Sean, that you said about some of the players. They look great the game before, but then they don't seem to perform. And that could be both sides, when they start or when they come on the subs. Pierre has looked like a great impact player coming off the bench for us, a lot of the time. So you'd have thought he's got something to prove coming off the bench, maybe not starting a game. He thought he probably could have started if Maddison's dropped, but he didn't. Inconsistency. We've got inconsistencies throughout. You can't build anything off that. And we are then relying on, as I said, a front line at this moment in time. It's terrible front line. They're terrible. Let's not get it twisted. Son might have 16, 17 goals, but he's been bang average. With Charlton, I've got a little bit of sympathy for him. He's been kept out of the team, even if he's been injured, but he's been told, I've been told he's been fit, but yet he brings him on for the first game in however long,
and no supply.
but takes him off.
Yeah.
But he's not been fit. So how do you expect him to perform to a level if he's not played? But then you take him off.
Yeah. And do you know what the icing on the cake?
It's bizarre.
Yeah, you know what the icing on the cake for me was? When Gil came on and he had that shot that went into row Z. Did you see how many of our players clapped him? I'm like, why are you clapping him? He's just put the ball in row Z. Yeah. I don't even know if it was a cross or a shot. And they've got the audacity, a couple of our Tottenham players, to clap him to say, well done.
Now,
what is all that about? I'm sorry. You're hitting a ball into row Z. I'm going to tell you, what the fuck are you doing?
He was playing against players that were probably his sort of level against it. He was playing against that right side, on that left-hand side. Gilchrist came off after a little while, didn't he? Because he got injured towards the end.
Yeah.
I think Gil was on the pitch when he was on the pitch. So Gil's playing against players I would have imagined are his sort of level. But he was getting bounced around like he was 10. He was getting pushed off the ball and flying into row Z. Not just the fucking bullshit. Him himself was getting into row Z by an 18-year-old kid.
I know.
Who pocketed our captain. And if we cannot see what's right in front of us, we are going to have a problem. We have to get rid of so many of these players. We can't be like, well done, Gil, for shooting it out of there and getting bounced by an 18-year-old. He's not good enough. He's not been seen all season. Why the fuck are you putting him on against Chelsea?
Mad.
When Lo Celso's been fucking told that we want to give a new 2-year contract, and he's coming on at 85 minutes. That doesn't make sense. That's on the manager. He can't give these players heart, but he can organise the shit that we're seeing at the moment and not put that player on, put this player on, and do not think that we can get away with having Brennan Johnson at 40. He said Brennan Johnson was the answer. He said it. Nobody comes through here without my say so. He wanted him. So if you want him, you have to stick by this kid. And don't give me the fact that he's got to be, I've got to give him time. Fuck time. I've seen Manchester United bring on 18-year-olds. I've seen Newcastle bring in 18. I've seen every single team where they have to, they brought in youngsters. And some of them have performed, some of them quite haven't. But if we're going to keep on relying on players that we know are not going to be good enough, what's happening with our youngsters? Why can't Mikey Moore? Why can't Donnelly? Why can't any of them at least start? Or come on for 15, 20, 25. But you're giving a professional who you're telling you want a 2-year contract for fucking 5 minutes when you're 2-0 down. Bollocks.
5 minutes in which he created 3 chances.
Exactly, Sean. Exactly.
And you ask about our youngsters. They, at the same time as we were playing, were showing testicular fortitude by coming from 3-0 down in the semi-final to win 4-3 and go to a final. Wow. That's where they have got to be blooded into the first team.
Absolutely.
They have to be blooded into the first team.
How many times have I seen that?
We've got to do it now. Sorry, Sid. We have to do it now. And I'm saying from Liverpool game, it doesn't matter if we beat Liverpool. It doesn't matter if we lose against Liverpool. It doesn't matter. Because we're hardly likely to win at Anfield. If we can't go to Stamford Bridge against kids, the fucking know where we're going to go to Liverpool on their last season with Klopp and thinking we're going to go and turn them over. Not happening. So we may as well just see what we can do. Who has heart? Who has desire? Who wants to be a footballer at Spurs? Given the pressure that we know that you're going to come under, who has the minerals for it? We've seen that not a lot of these players do have them minerals. They don't have them.
Do you know what? This is what we've said all along. Bring in the players, young players. They're young, they're fresh. They can't make it any worse than what it is. But how many times have we said this time and time again? We've got so many good players that can be bought on, but Spurs will never, ever do. And I swear when Gil came on, salt and pepper were there because every time he got the ball, it was, push him. push him real good, and he just went over. Right, do you want to bring on the overall then? Because overall stats, I think it was possession-wise, again, away from home, 62% at Stamford Bridge, right? They had 38. 19 shots apiece for both teams. They had 9 off, we had 7. They had 5 on target, we had 3. Shots inside the box and out, 11-5, Tottenham 12-7. 357 passes they had, 77% percentage rate accuracy. 564 Tottenham, 86%. Touches in the opposite half, 284, of which we had 41 touches in their box. They had 130 and 23. So again, 62% possession. You've almost got double possession away at Stamford Bridge, and we've had 3 shots on target. So this narrative about possession, and I think Gunnar King said it all. You can have all the possession in the world, but it's what you do with that. Yeah, the teams are having less possession than Tottenham and outscoring Tottenham every game more than likely. So what do you make of that overall, Sean?
You know, it's rinse and repeat. I mean, second half Hotspur, those figures are inflated by what happened in the second half. Yes. It's unbelievable that we've, you know, but you know, it's like, you know, you lose the words when you know, every performance is the same. Ball is too slow. We're too ponderous. I mean, there was a time that we had a break in the second half, and we took 3 passes to get it out to the winger, by which time Chelsea had about 8 or 9 players back in their box. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just so frustrating. You know, it's as Sam says, I can't wait. I can't wait for the season to end. I really can't. Yeah. You know,
can't wait.
Do you know what?
I just can't wait.
Other thing that was mentioned when I was watching the game yesterday with Man United fans, Liverpool fans, right? And one thing that constantly came up was, why are your wingers getting the ball, crossing the ball in, and your attackers are at the back post when the ball's getting put in? He said, does not any of your attackers come forward to try and get the ball? He says, what are they doing right at the back post? I went, it's Tottenham Hotspur for you. Sam, bring on the team.
Okay, let's get on to that. I'm going to try and put some positive spin into this sort of thing, because, do you know, at the end of the day, Andrew's in his first season. We have to do all that. I'm going to put the team up first, and then we can just look at everybody as opposed to...
Stop at after Richarlison.
Okay. Do you want me to go back again?
No, carry on.
Okay,
Keep going.
Sorry.
Just bring the team up. Just stop at Richarlison, because then you'll bring the subs on. If you want to talk about the subs after, we can bring them on. But that's the starting lineup anyway.
Let's give some positives. I've got to be positive because it's my team. I supported them for a very long time, and I'm not going to be completely. But we've seen a cycle. There's things going on. For 24 years, we haven't won nothing. All the rest of that sort of stuff. But there are some positives. We have got a way of playing that, on its day, can beat anybody. We've seen that. We've heard managers say, "Oh, this Spurs team, they've pushed us back. They've done all that, blah blah blah, all the rest of that good stuff." But every single team that we've played, I guess, maybe let's take out the first 10 games and up to the Chelsea game. But since that point, maybe apart from Villa, I'd even probably say Burnley, have just thought, no, we can just play against Spurs. We're going to do what we want to do. But that hasn't worked to a degree. So other teams have said, okay, Wolves, let's slightly adapt. Gary, whatever his name is, Gary O'Neill. I can see I can exploit that. And since he did that at Wolves and exploited us and won both their games, they did a double over us. Let's not forget that. Not just Chelsea. Wolves have done a double over us. 2 teams that we shouldn't not have seen doubles being done, because Wolves are not that great. Chelsea, we know it's a bit of a basket case this season, but both of them have comfortably done the double. I say comfortably. Wolves was a bit of a laugh. But what I'm saying is, they've seen how we can be exploited. Even with our best team on the pitch, you can exploit Spurs. You can exploit them. Now, again, yesterday, hindsight, 5 at the back would have been a better... Dragerson on the right-hand side, Romero in the centre of that 3, Van der Ven on the left side of a back three. You're protecting Royal on that left-hand side with somebody who's got clear pace and who's going to be in position more often than not to cover that when he's playing up front. Because that's what he tried to do yesterday. This is what I'm thinking to myself, adaptation. But Ange is 58 and he's going to be stuck in his ways and he's going to be stubborn because I can see it already when they're asking him about set pieces. Nope. I don't really want to talk about that. It's not my priority. And they're going to keep asking him, and he's going to get pissed off. And he's now beginning to see all those things. So please adapt just slightly. No one is saying change your philosophy. But if we go to Anfield and we have Emerson Royal playing left back, we've got Mo Salah, we've got Curtis Jones, we've got whatever their people, they've got a lot of pace in that front line. We're going to get smoked. Even with Darwin Núñez, who we can compare to Nicholas Jackson, who has 4 goals against Spurs, we could get trounced. It's not fair on us to expect that we can see the same way of playing and expect different results with these substandard players. And we have got some substandard players. So the positives are we can see what we can do and there is light, but not playing the same way with every single team that we play, with the players that we've got. The defenders are going to be pissed off. Van der Ven is going to be injured again very soon. Don't play him for the rest of this season. Because if he's having to keep on running back, turning, carrying the ball forward, turning and running back, he's going to get injured. So is Romero. It's not fair to watch that. It's just not.
Sean, what did you... The starting lineup then yesterday? Because looking at this starting lineup, I'll tell you straight, Kulusevski shouldn't have played in that role. And we was talking about this on the preview, right? GLC or Maddison. Is fair play to Postecoglou. He had the bollocks to drop Maddison, right? Because he's not been playing well. Then he should have had the bollocks to drop Son, because Son's not been playing well. He should have had the bollocks to drop a lot of people. But he made the change. He put Kulusevski there. Was that the right decision? Do you think GLC should have started in that position? Or in general, what did you make of the starting lineup?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I just couldn't look away from left back. And I just said,
we knew what was happening.
I mean, you just knew Palmer and Madueke were going to have a field day, and they did. He lost. I think someone said he lost 5 out of 5 duels.
There you go.
And he kept. Imagine this is the field. He kept drifting in to where Basuma is, and you're the left back. And then, of course, what happens is that the ball would get switched from the left wing, and there was acres of space out there for their left winger to go. He's like it was the old idea, like when Sanchez was left centre back. You just knew. And you just cannot. I mean, we're done because that injury to Davis has ruined us. I mean, if he's got no choice apart from playing Royale on Sunday, and God, Salah's going to have a field day.
You're not going to like this comment, Sam.
Yeah, go on.
From Pablo. Good afternoon. Positives. Timo Werner is better than Johnson.
I can't even give Timo.
Do you know what? There's probably stats which will back that up as well.
There are stats that will back that up. There are. I agree with that. Them stats, they are. But that shows us where we are. If Timo Werner not playing is our best player, because that's what we're saying. He didn't play and he's our best player. Then I'm going to give Son a hard time. Know that Royal is going to be under pressure. What do you expect from your forward player on the left-hand side or right-hand side to do? Help.
Exactly.
Support. I don't remember Son getting back too many times to support Royal. I can't remember. Maybe I wasn't watching enough, but I just see him being exposed. Go on. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was expressing a laugh because what about the shenanigans for the second goal?
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what it reminded me of?
If Son had got the fuck out of there, Højbjerg stood a chance of clearing that.
Yeah. Do you know what it reminded me of? You remember that saying goes, Højbjerg and Son kissing in a tree, KISSING. Because they wanted to hold hands, they wanted to hug, and then they both went, no, actually, oh shit, there's a football game going on. There's a ball going over our heads. We need to, oh shit, it's a goal. I don't know what's going on. Bring on the subs. Let's see. Because I know if you want to quickly talk about that, because we got to go in a minute as well. So that's the first 3 substitutions, right? I just thought, what the hell? Don't even put Gil on there, man. Forget Gil. But the first three substitutions I thought was bizarre. I think Kulu should have gone off, in my opinion. But I don't know, guys. What do you want to make of that? What do you make of? I know, Sean, you're not happy with the substitutions and the way they were done. So go on, talk to me about the substitutions.
Well, I mean, as I said, the game, we conceded any momentum that we built up in the second half with those substitutions. I mean, it was ridiculous. You're reinforcing the midfield. You're taking away the only striker who's got an ability to head the ball in, and we went back to putting Son through the middle, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It's just rinse, repeat. I just the substitutions killed it. And while we were we hadn't created too much threat, we were pushing them back a bit at least, and I don't know, it just the substitutions killed it for me. And Maddison was anonymous. Højbjerg was dreadful. Bentancur, well, one or two good things, but those shots, oh my god, those grass cutters, oh, terrible. Yeah, it was a shit show from 60 minutes on,
Do you know
absolutely Gunner King, yeah. Strictly gum dancing.
It could have been dancing on ice as well. You know what? Might as well just go that level, isn't it, and make it into that. But I think, honestly, some of the substitutions, like that Gil one, I mean, even Maddison bang out of form. And if you're Lo Celso, you must be thinking, what do I need to do? Yeah.
Lo Celso is only not a World Cup winner because he picked up a terrible injury prior to the tournament.
Yeah.
He would have been in that team. And Messi loves him. I just despair,
Yeah, what I will say to this is, obviously, and it's an obvious point, we don't know everything that goes on behind closed doors. What Ange sees, what these players are doing, what we don't know all that. We only see what we see on the clips from Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur, what we see on a match day. We don't know what conversations have been had. But I don't understand the Gil thing. We haven't seen him for so long. He's not been effective in every single game that we've seen him at this point in his Spurs career. He's had one or two moments, but he's never had a wow, yeah, that's Gil. I can see your potential in there. There is no real potential in him in this league because he's lightweight. We're going to have to say that about quite a few of our players. But what you've done with Richarlison, you've rested him. He said he's fit. He's training. He said he's fit. He's gone to the bench. He said he's fit. He starts. But then as soon as we don't have anything looking like get him through to, because we didn't play the ball. We didn't play to his strengths, really. We didn't help him coming back from an injury. He gets taken off. And then we have the situation where we then fuck up everything up front because Son's going back into the middle.
Yeah.
We have Johnson going on the side that we know he's not very good at, on that left. Kulu then goes back onto the right. He's not performed really well this season on the right. So we're doing things again. This is the definition of insanity that Einstein has said many, many, many years ago. You're doing the same things and you expect to get different results. How? Son's not playing well. He scored his goals early on in the season. He's gone to the Asian Cup and he's come back and he's been a shadow of himself. An absolute shadow.
100%. And we don't...
South Korea are obviously favourites for that tournament, and the fact that they didn't get to the final even was it's affected him. There's no doubt about it.
100%.
And it's cruel now. It's starting to be cruel to continue to play him.
Yeah.
Because he's done. He's done in. He needs a break. And
you've got Scarlett there.
double
him.
thumbs up. But what I will say to that, Son, probably our only player that's the closest to world class that we have. And I would even put Son into the world class when he's on his day. But he's now at the age where he's not going to get better. We've seen the best of Son. And we saw the best of Son when he had his mate there, Harry Kane, who got the best out of him. If you look at all these players around Son now, if you want the player who's very experienced, he's the one who's going to have to try and pull others in. He's the one that actually needs support at the moment. He's the one that needs players to come around him and say, Son, you are world class. You're our best. You're our captain. No one's supporting him in that sense. Has to be the manager. But this is why he's being started continuously. Can we get back? Can we get back? Can we get back to the Son that we know? Can we get him back? He needs to not play. Drop him as you did Maddison.
Yeah.
Drop him as you did Maddison. But drop him for what and who? Play some youngsters, because don't want to see Brian Gill playing in there. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Johnson on the left, and I don't want to see Kulu on the right and putting Richard, because that doesn't work.
Son is tired. As he ages, you have to manage his minutes better. I personally think that's all it is. I still absolutely envy you guys having that player. He is undeniably world class in my opinion, and that's from an Arsenal fan. So big up to Gunner King there. Do you know what? Lo Celso's probably, every day he comes into that training ground, every match day, he's probably putting on that song, innit? What do I have to do to make you love me? Because what does he have to do to get a starting 11? So,
but what? Not just him.
Yeah,
we can look at our bench, but I'm more concerned about our youngsters.
Yeah,
our youngsters who are performing, as Sean has correctly said, who are performing, who we've been told have got the ability, but they haven't been given an opportunity. I've also been told that we're building this so we're recruiting young players. We're recruiting young players and not even using the players that we have at our disposal in our own academy. Make it make sense when we are going through a rebuild. Do you not want to see if we've got any potentially Kobe Miners in our team? Do you want to not see if we've got any of them sort of players that we can possibly rely on for 3 or 4 games? But when you haven't got a collective of professionals that will show you the fighting spirit, you're going to drag them players down. They will come into a team and they'll think, oh, well, if my captain is not playing that great and doesn't look like he really cares, I'm not saying that's a song, but he doesn't look the same player, why would an 18-year-old come into our team and say, yeah, I can see where I'm in. Yeah, I'm going to... You're not, because you need support. You need to be brought into a team that's going to flood you. We need the season to end, lads. We do. We need to get in the summertime and see what happens in there. We
can go on for ages, but unfortunately, some of us, well, we need to go. Sean, bias aside, don't be too disheartened. The start of your season shows what's possible. The end shows you don't have enough in your squad to maintain the top end level. With investment, that can change. My question to you is that investment going to be happening in the summer, and will he get backed?
Well, that may depend on where we end up vis-a-vis Europa League or Europa Conference League. I'm just... well, I mean, they've talked a big game, but when you start hearing things on the rumour that there's 2 budgets, a budget for the Champions League, which you can forget about, and a budget for the Europa League, then you know it's the ownership are not going to change. We're just going to have to rely on the fact that Ange learns his lessons quickly and usually applies them in the second season, and that's what I'm hoping for. I just hope we're doing. That's a terrible question to put in, but I'm saying in mid-thought.
Hi SSS. Ange looks cooked already. How will you guys feel if Liverpool bag 2 to 3 goals from set pieces again? What tactics? We don't do tactics at defending.
It's not how we feel. It's not how we feel about it. It's how Ange feels about it, and how the players feel. Because I keep saying, if the players lose belief, even 5% belief in something that's being thrown onto you, instilled into you, it's going to have an effect on our results. And I think we're seeing the beginnings of that. It can be addressed. It can be addressed, but the manager will need to come out. And this is what I'm saying. He's got a problem here because he's dug himself into a little bit of a hole by saying what he said. He doesn't consider that to be a priority. Someone said to me, well, if that's not his priority, set pieces, what is his priority? And he said the priority is to try and get better in that front third, to improve that. That's where the biggest bang for your buck's going to be. But at this moment in time, that's probably the worst of our situation. So what are we actually doing? If that's not improving, and that's the priority, which I think, then something's not right. I can only then boil it down to the fact that some players are not good enough, which we know, also possibly losing a little bit of belief in this. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep having possession. We're going to keep not having shots on target in the first half. Why? And we're going to keep conceding goals from set pieces. We're going to keep conceding goals in wide areas. Van der Ven, I keep fucking having to run back. I can't defend that space all the time if they're going to keep on playing that space. I'm going to get a problem. It's so obvious to me what we can sort out easily without having to disrupt anything. But Andrew's now said, it's not my, and he's going to dig himself in, and he's going to flip. Already I've seen that, and that's my problem. That's why the season needs to end, so we can at least not have any of that dialogue. Because if we concede another set piece goal, even between now and Burnley or whatever it was, what do you think the question is going to be the next time he's asked about it?
Same question. Yeah. Mate, I don't care. Mate, I don't care.
I like Ange's honesty, but I think at times he needs to not be as honest as he's been.
Yeah.
Because he's brought a problem. And the last thing about that, he's also stated that we're probably not going to be going for £100 million players. We're not going to be doing that anyway.
250 millions.
But you'd rather get 250s. Well, again, is that going to be something that's going to work for us? To Brennan Johnson equivalent as opposed to I don't know who you want to put in there.
No, there are better players to buy than Brennan Johnson.
Alexander Isak. He cost 70 million, possibly 65. You pay an extra 15 million on top of Brennan Johnson, you get Alexander Isak.
Yeah. Right.
No comparison.
So like Mohamed Kudus.
No comparison.
Yeah, but they're not going to sell to us. This is a problem.
No, I know it. But I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
He didn't cost as much as Brennan Johnson did.
They got it right.
They got it right, yeah.
Yeah. Right, lads. Then final thoughts then before obviously we move on to Liverpool at Anfield.
Sid, what are you doing to us?
What?
Final thoughts before Anfield. If you thought it was bad at Stamford Bridge, my final thoughts are fuck.
Incoming.
Lamb to the slaughters at Anfield.
Yeah.
Lamb to the slaughters on Sunday. Listen, you never know. They might turn up and not concede from a corner.
One piece of news is that it looks like Van Dijk's not playing on
it's
Sunday.
Not confirmed, but I hear it might. But do you know what? Honestly, I am not worried about Van Dijk. I tell you who I am worried about though, and I'll tell you now. You're not gonna like it, not a lot. Diaz is gonna have Emerson Royal flipping around, spinning around like Kylie Minogue did.
But he's on the. Luckily for us, Diaz usually plays off the left.
Yeah, but whoever plays on that right, Diaz or whoever,
that'll be Salah, won't it?
Yeah,
it's Mo Salah.
He's on the bench.
Mo Salah.
He didn't start the other day, so
I
fear
he's starting. They've patched it up. Apparently, they patched up whatever differences they had.
Yeah.
If Mo Salah doesn't start at Anfield in the last game against Spurs, he is not staying at Liverpool. And he's already said he's staying at Liverpool because they've sorted out. He's going to be starting on Sunday. Come on.
And guess what?
On one side, Salah on the other side.
To re-employ Conte.
Yeah. You know what I'm doing on Sunday?
That fucking Turin troll. He's been putting out feelers to Chelsea with Pochettino still in place. Yeah, right.
I'm gonna cover the left side of my TV screen on Sunday, so I don't need to watch that demolition happening. So I'm gonna cover this left side of my the left side of my TV or the right side of my TV because it's with the left, so that I don't need to watch that encounter happening. Emerson will get absolutely demolished. Anyway, lads,
just a quick one.
Go for it.
And I know we've got to do a preview, but who do you see as starting that game for us? Just a quick Do you think it's going to be the similar team, the same team?
What
changes?
Vicario.
the preview show to do that?
Okay.
Because
Because
I'm going to spin it around. I'm going to now give it exactly what I think should happen. Yeah. And let's see what happens. Conte's going Napoli, but apparently he's after some British club. I've heard somebody in this league as well. I won't be surprised if he ends up at West Ham. But anyway, final thoughts.
He's going to Man United if he's going anywhere.
Yeah. Final thoughts then. Start Moore and Donnelly. Ziran, watch the preview show. I'm telling you now, I'm going to change the team up. And some might like it, some might not. Some mothers might have it, some mothers might not. I don't care. But
Dorrington.
Yeah. Right. So, sum it up then, lads, and then we're off. Sean.
Another shite show at Stamford Bridge. Going to be an arse of a day on Sunday at Anfield. And then hopefully we can just wind down the season. I'm afraid, Gunner King, your wishes for us to turn up against Man City will not be met.
No.
And
even if we want it to,
it probably will be. That's the thing.
And we will struggle to beat Burnley and Sheffield United and finish in the Conference League.
Agree. Sean? Sam?
Yeah, we just have to hope our season doesn't implode in terms of the pressure of the questioning. I can't see us beating Liverpool. I can't see us even getting any points from Liverpool, which would then mean 4 games in a row lost, which then goes into the Burnley game under a lot of pressure. Burnley, nothing to lose, really. They're not going to stay up. We know that. So they're just going to play their football as Company's been playing all season. That's not good for us. So what I'm looking to do, what I'm looking from these players and from managers, just to make sure we put players on there that want to play, that really have Tottenham at their hearts in terms of, this fighting spirit. And I think more of the youngsters will probably have that than some of these players that I'm watching now. Some of these professionals they just want to get to the end of the season. So we may as well just blood some players in that we want to see if they've got the potential. That's it.
Right. So for me, right, I'm just going to leave it out here and then I'm going to close the show. So Tottenham's record against the London rivals. Arsenal drew 2-2. Chelsea lost 4-1. West Ham lost 2-1. West Ham drew 1-1. Arsenal lost 3-2. Chelsea lost 2-0. I'm dropping my mic. You can't
throw Fulham in.
Yeah, you cannot beat your London rivals and then you expect to go to other places and do that. So if you can't get geared up for your own derbies, says it all. Ladies, gentlemen, wherever you're watching us on whatever platform, thank you very much indeed for watching PRTV Spurs, Paxton Road TV's reaction show. Really do appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Gunner King, as well, for coming on and giving us your say. Always.
He's trying to butter us up for Man City game.
That's all he wants to do. He wants us to be confident going into the City game. He don't give a toss about us.
Yeah, I know.
I know Gunner King, so I see you.
The top guy.
Listen, we've been whipped more than my missus has been whipping cream for her cakes this season. So let's leave it at that, Gunner King. Right. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
I wonder where you were going this.
I was going to say the same thing here.
Now whipping the cream for her cakes.
Scratching my head there.
Sit in his dungeon, yeah.
It was whipping cream for her cakes. For the last couple of days, she's been whipping. And I tell you what, it is what it is. But yeah, we have been the whipping boys of the Londons. Anyway, listen. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sean.
Cheers.
You're welcome. Come on, you Spurs.
Absolutely. Preview show probably tomorrow. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. If you're everybody else but Tottenham fans. And look forward to the game on Sunday. Aren't we all? As Tottenham Hotspur fans. And one final thing, and then I'm pressing the button. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club refund the fans that went to Chelsea and Newcastle United, because they do not deserve them performances. If you're not going to do it, then the players need to refund them. I tell you that now. Anyway, have a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then come back after hiding behind the sofa at Anfield. Have a great evening, great afternoon, great morning. See you later.
Develop,